When they got closer, they realized that the little creature had been severely burnt.
Oh, poor little kangaroo. Where's your mummy?
Adorable little ducklings struggling to keep up with their mothers. So when these two ducklings couldn't jump up on the curb to follow their mama, they were lucky this kind man was willing to help.
It's very difficult to capture a frightened deer, all the while holding on with one hand to stop you from falling. But in the end, this guy succeeded.
Ух ты, красавчик! Нихера вы!
All wild bird was hiding out from the 113-degree Australian heat in a car with people. And even once it felt better, the bird was not in any rush to leave its saviors. What would have happened to the little dolphin if it weren't for this kind man? This stray dog was starving for so long, it turned into a living mummy. It was too famished to move. Fortunately, people responded to its cries for help and nursed it back to health.
Finally gone out, this woman went out in search of animals that needed help and found a little kangaroo with burned hands who was crying for help. After this man helped a sloth cross the street, the adorable animal even thanked him for its kindness.
A cat nearly became a victim of a python, but the fearless locals saved it, and they were really risking their lives.
Who got his head stuck between a fence and was trapped there for several hours. Thankfully though, these people finally heard the calls for help and freed the innocent animal.
And this girl sacrificed a pipe to free a bird.
Its calf fell into a canal with very strong currents. It seemed sure that it would drown, and if it wasn't for this brave man who risked his life, it certainly would not have survived. Polar bear asked a man for help after getting its tongue stuck in a tin can, which prevented the poor animal from eating. The man called for help, and after a long rescue mission, they were finally able to remove the tin can and save the polar bear's life. Amazingly, the fox was freed without the need to cut through the wheel, and after a brief recovery time, it was finally returned to the wild.
A dog found itself in a water trap and would have drowned if it weren't for the rescue crew. Look at how obedient it is, knowing they are trying to help it. This dog had a seizure, so the dog's owner supported the animal with her kindness. The dog is now fine. And here's how they rescued a baby elephant in Zimbabwe after it got stuck in the mud after a long drought. Drowned in a canal, a person became a saving grace. The guy grabbed the dog with his legs to pull it out of the water.
Husky pup choked on his food. It caused his heart to stop beating. But this kind-hearted man did everything he could to save him.
This koala was stuck in a tree because of a flood. It was lucky to be noticed by people in a canoe. Have a look at the way this dog climbs into the boat to save itself. Osprey got tangled in a fishing line, and in addition, the hook injured its right wing. But despite the pain, the bird is trying very hard to get to the boat.
And a couple stumbled upon them and decided to help. After a while, they finally managed to separate the poor animals who appeared to be unharmed, all thanks to the kind couple who spent a few minutes of their time sparing the lives of two helpless creatures. The man witnessed his dog plunge through the thin ice, but didn't hesitate to jump in after him. This bat got electrocuted by flying into power wires and unfortunately died. Her little baby was still miraculously alive under its fur. The poor thing doesn't want to let her mother go, but luckily, it looks like she has a new mother now.
A seagull got caught on a fishing hook attached to the electric cables. Within 7 hours, the bird was rescued. But even after its liberation, it kept going back, pecking its saviors.
Now, as the mother elephant regains consciousness, she realizes that her baby has been freed, and they happily walk away together.
And this dolphin swam right up to the divers in the hopes of being freed from a fishing line. Now it's free, but check this out. It's not in any rush to swim away, thanking its savior instead.
A heat wave, it's the stray animals that suffer the most, so this kind man decided to help a stray dog by giving it a quick cold shower to cool off.
Even sharks need help sometimes. This guy noticed a small beached shark and returned it into the water.
The brave men carry the dog out of the house and away from the dangerous smoke before they run back inside to check if anyone's left. Magpies all got their heads stuck in a fence and were unable to free themselves. But today was their lucky day, as a man who was passing by stopped to free them.
Shepherd from the river, several men, including people from a rescue squad, tried to get it out. After many failed attempts, the dog was finally saved and returned to its owner. And these guys are not just railway workers, they are real heroes. They jumped off a moving train to rescue a chamois that was buried under the snow by a different passing train. The drowning squirrel was rescued from a swimming pool. The situation appeared hopeless. Thankfully, the rescuer knew how to perform first aid on squirrels. You have to save the world to be a hero. You can just save a cat that got stuck in the window, just like this downstairs neighbor with a long stick. It got stuck in the football net, and it took real effort to free it. Thankfully, there were no injuries, and the pup was able to return to its mom without any problems. And here's what a removal of the rhinoceros horn looks like to deter poachers who kill these animals for their horns. They are made of keratin, just like human nails, which means they keep growing back. As for the noise, the animal is wearing headphones, so it's not too scared. And here's an incredible moment of a kitten being rescued a second before death. Sometimes the tide throws sea turtles onto dry land, and if they are upside down, they cannot flip over and get back into the water. This guy found a giant turtle on the shore and saved it by turning it.
This cat was poisoned by carbon monoxide and seemed to have no chance of surviving, but his owner begged rescuers for help. The firefighters refused to give up, and after a long rescue mission, a miracle happened. The cat came back to life.
Silly, stop it.
The baby swan was stuck in the fence, but its mother had nothing to worry about. It was in good hands.
Look. Come on, he's coming with you. Come on, there's a good boy. There's a good boy. Come on. Come on, there he is, look.
You'll see how an excavator was similarly used to rescue a bear. Elephant baby and its mother had fallen into a muddy manhole. A team of volunteers mounted a dynamic rescue using an excavator. The mother then suffered heart failure, but these kind-hearted people were not going to give up and even performed CPR on the elephant.
A dolphin was beached, and as if that weren't bad enough, it was tangled in a net. Fortunately, the animal was quickly freed and returned into the water. In India, a baby leopard got into a huge well. It was rescued using a large net. Once it was back on dry land, the wet kitten ran away to its mom. This puppy lost consciousness during a fire, and this firefighter brought it back to life with CPR.
This dog, who got stuck in barbed wire and desperately tried to free himself, only making it worse. Even though they didn't know the dog, these kind people did not hesitate to save him. Colorful rubber fabric can become a death trap for sea turtles who easily mistake them for jellyfish. Just watch how this poor turtle was struggling to survive until it was found by these wonderful guys who didn't hesitate to help the dying animal.
This sheep was stuck in a fence and was thrashing uncontrollably, trying to break free. Look how quickly it calmed down when it realized this guy was there to help.
Come on. It's out.
Now this firefighter revives the cat that had been rescued from the basement of a burning house. Just listen to the cat's meowing. It is very confused, but still so grateful to be alive.
Come here. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's another one. Hold on. Stay there. There you go. Stay in there. Let's see if there's any more.
This 6-day-old elephant was abandoned by the herd due to illness, but the locals saved it. Look how grateful the animal is to them.
Into a deep well is saved by using a creative DIY method.
This guy spotted a turtle in the middle of the road and saved it from being crushed, taking it to a safe place afterwards.
Baby shark found itself trapped among the rocks and may never have seen its family again if it hadn't been for these surfers. They tried to simply push the young creature into deeper water, but they had to do much more to get it back home.
And this fox cub was loudly crying after getting stuck in some netting. At first it was very frightened, but then realized that people were there to rescue it. Just take a look at such trust between an animal and a human.
This mother who performed CPR on a slightly bigger animal after a baby deer was found lifeless on the bottom of their pool.
Mom, it's opening.
After a long rescue attempt, the animals that were terribly affected was this wailing koala who was badly burnt and in desperate need of help. Luckily, there were a lot of kind people who stayed in these dangerous areas to save all the animals that were left behind. Just watch how this man and woman saves the koala to later transport it to a nearby hospital.
That's the condition the puppy was in when people found it. But wait till you see what it looks like today. This dog fell under the ice and had no way to save itself. Thankfully, the rescue team got there in time, holding the dog out of the water. Now, all it has to do is dry off and warm up. During a wedding, one of the guests saw that a dog needed help, so he came to the animal's aid. Later, he was joined by another person, and finally, the dog was saved. This story deserves its own animated film about Bambi's adventures. This baby deer was rescued from a fast-flowing river by several people who risked their own life.
Despite the danger, the family attempted to move their boat next to the bear and tried to get the jar off, and after several attempts, they were finally able to free the animal.
We saved our little baby.
And here's an example of a great way to use a remote-controlled car. This guy found a seagull tangled in the fishing line and decided to save it despite the bird's attempts to fend him off. A couple of swift movements and the bird is safe. And here, a police officer came to a dog's aid when it got stuck in a burning SUV. Take a look at the way it expressed gratitude for its safety. This guy saved a drowning sparrow, but he didn't expect the bird to get so attached to its savior that it would sit on his head. It's hard to say how long this heron was hanging on its own beak, fighting for its life. But now it's saved thanks to a kind fisherman who managed to free the bird using his fishing rod. And Shepherd was standing on the fence, tangled in barbed wire and practically begging for help. Many people just drove past it, but thankfully there were caring and compassionate people who stopped to help the dog. Just listen to the heartbreaking cries of this scared, injured, and cold puppy. But when it realized that people won't harm it, the puppy settled down and calmly went to a clinic with them. When people build roads, they never think of the animals. And here are the consequences. This baby moose was entirely covered in asphalt. A rescue team came to its aid to clear off the moose's fur. When a dog fell under the ice, it was a matter of minutes before the animal couldn't be rescued due to cold water. With great difficulty, the men managed to get the dog, and it quickly understood what to do. This turtle was in trouble being so far away from the water, but thankfully this guy was there to help.
1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。
After many attempts, this organization could finally catch the sheep and rescue it.
The owner forgot to close the window, and the neighbor had to save the poor pet that got stuck in the gap. Dogs are like children. You have to keep a close eye on them. The leg of this horse got stuck in the fence wire, and it's hard to say how long it would have stayed there if humans didn't come to its rescue. Fortunately, it wasn't injured, and after a while, it was able to run again. To pull a cow out of a well, people had to use a huge tractor, and they succeeded too.
Baby deer fell down and got stuck in a fence. The mother struggled to free its baby, but these people heard the screams of the young fawn and came to their rescue. After a long mission, the baby deer was finally free and could reunite with his grateful mother.
The police officer saved these ducklings that fell into the drain and returned these babies to their mother. Was beached on one of the shores in Brazil. The animal spent almost 20 hours on dry land while people worked hard to get it back into the water.
Their safety to free a dangerous bobcat from a trap. Just look how confused the poor animal is when it realizes the human was just trying to help. When a sloth mother and her baby were separated, a kind woman found the baby sloth and spent hours searching for its mother. Just watch the heartwarming reunion when they were finally brought back together. She found herself in a horrible situation and her babies were calling for her, wondering where their mother had gone. Luckily, these guys managed to get her out and clean her off, reuniting the mother with her babies. Hesitate to risk their own safety to save the poor animal.
Of course, dolphins can survive for a little while without water, but they need help to avoid dying if they are beached. And so, many thanks to this person. Abandoned van from the cold. It was negative 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Turns out, someone shot it in the leg, and the bullet fractured the bone. The guy who found the dog brought it with him and nursed it back to health. This fox got stuck in the fence and couldn't move until a man noticed and saved her.
Oh, boy, that was lucky, wasn't it?
Pounding as a firefighter made his way onto thin ice to save this dog from drowning. The firefighter almost fell into the water as well, but only seconds before the ice completely collapsed, they were pulled back to safety.
Thank goodness this turtle was free, and hopefully it will have an easier life going forward.
Animal by setting it free and giving it a drink. Dog fell in this canal. A group of kind people came together to demonstrate what we humans can accomplish when we work together.
Using an excavator, this guy rescued 3 ducks that were stuck in the mud. Be brave enough to rescue animals from the war zone, getting them out of their enclosures that are under fire. Thanks to courageous people like this guy, Kangaroo. For food, 4 puppies got stuck in spilled tar. They couldn't move at all, but they still managed to cry for help. To clean the tar off their fur, people had to use oil and dishwashing fluid. And here's what they look like now.
当猫咪遇到胶带的时候，会有什么化学反应呢？
Thanks to these people, the baby bird thinks it's being fed by its mom. That's why it's not afraid. It was dehydrated and sick. I think we should all carry water with us exactly for such occasions.
So the water.
And this fearless man jumped into the icy waters to rescue a deer with a bucket on its head. A little while later, his friend came with a boat and they started to act. And finally, the owl fell out of its nest and patiently waited while people were building a ladder to return the bird. As a result, the owlet is back where it belongs, and will continue bringing letters from Hogwarts for years to come. These fishermen accidentally caught a 400-pound ray, so they called a team of professionals to save it. First, they found a place best suited for releasing this giant, did some tests, and finally...
Kangaroo thanks its rescuers by shaking their hand.
Oh, well done. Oh, he's thanking you.
Unfortunately, some people would probably let an animal experiencing heart failure die, but this man in India secured his place in our hearts by showing you should never give up.
Yeah?
This mom cow was loudly calling for help because her calf fell into a hole. Thanks to its rescuer, the calf was reunited with its mother.
Fell into molten rubber and became stuck in the toxic mixture with only his mouth poking out for air. Workers followed the screams of the dog and spent 2 hours getting it out. This brave man saves the calf from being eaten by a lion, then having a very intense standoff with the dangerous carnivore. Giraffe was found with a tire stuck on its neck. These wildlife medics helped get rid of it and took care of the wounds too. An absolutely wonderful and brave rescue effort, but my only question is how did the tire end up there in the first place?
In the Philippines, 2 divers noticed a huge manta ray with a fishing line cutting through its wing. These guys removed the fishing line from the devilfish, and we hope that the wing will heal soon. Goat was loudly crying because its head was stuck in a wheel. Thankfully, people didn't just stand by.
There, like these guys who decided to free the poor turtle.
These divers noticed a large turtle heading their way. Someone must have been very cruel, plunging a spear into the animal's neck. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. And this is an incredible show of friendship between a dog and an elephant. Check out how adorable they look playing in the water. And here's what a true hero looks like. Watch this man risk his own life to get an eagle out of a swamp.
Got stuck in a gate grill, she was initially scared and acted aggressively toward them. But after 9 hours, the poor dog finally accepted that they were trying to help her. After a long rescue mission, they were finally able to set her free.
This cobra got its head stuck in a metal can, and despite the danger of this venomous snake, men helped the cobra and moved it to a place that was safer for other people. Penguin escaped hungry orcas by jumping into a tourist boat.
安生，你别舔了，那是你弟弟呀，你舔它干嘛呀？一会儿把他头舔秃噜皮了。那你舔吧，反正你弟弟有蛋蛋，你没有。你没有。
A bit of persistence and human's best friend is saved. In India, a donkey fell into a septic tank at a construction site. After being stuck in the sewage for 24 hours, the animal was very grateful to be rescued. discovered kittens among the trash and got them out. Sometimes animals need to be saved from other people.
Here we go again.
They kept digging and found 7 puppies who had been buried alive. Thanks to their quick thinking, the Furry family was safe and sound, much to the relief of their worried mother.
And here's another example of an animal trusting a human when it needs help. Isn't it adorable? Of this poor puppy was seriously injured and it was dealing with the pain alone until the puppy was found by people. Unfortunately, it lost the ear, but at least it found a family and a happy life. A 60,000-pound humped whale was stranded on the shore, and take a look at the way people united to help it. The snowboarder decided to take a ride on fresh snow. His plans changed when he came across a horse stuck in the snow. What a day! Took a snowboard ride and rescued a horse that was reunited with its owners 4 days later. Low tide, this sea turtle got stranded on the shore upside down, but it was very lucky to be found by these guys because high tide wasn't due for another few weeks. This horse was stuck in the fast river and couldn't move. Rescuers had to use a helicopter to carefully transport the horse to safety.
After a while, they were finally able to remove it and save the poor animal. Fell into the water and couldn't get back on land, with the mother also unable to help. But these people heard the tiny screams for help and decided to rescue it from drowning and reunite the baby with its mother.
A tiny baby possum got stuck in the stream and was rescued by 3 people who then decided to have it as their pet.
Luckily, these people found it before it was too late and managed to rescue the poor animal.
This diver caught a fish, but a hungry shark stole it for itself. Unfortunately, it bit off more than it could chew. And as a result, the diver had to help the shark. What other option did she have?
After a massive hurricane, these poor dogs were abandoned in locked cages and had to stand on their hind legs to avoid drowning in the storm's fast-rising floodwaters. But this hero volunteer waded through knee-deep water to rescue the 6 dogs who were whimpering and howling for help.
Hurts animals just as much as it does people. Look at these cats, rescued and fed by this bearded dude that came to Urban. Insects also approach people for help. Look at this praying mantis. It's not even scared. And this elk came to people with the head of its opponent stuck to its antlers. Unfortunately, the operator was powerless.
Injured and in shock. This kind woman took the cat to the hospital, and amazingly, it survived and went on to live a happy life. Just watch how the elephant's family comes running to greet their baby.
This person got a baby monkey out from underneath the ruins and returned it to its mom. Just look at her reaction. These fishermen noticed that a baby whale tangled in a net approached their boat. They freed the poor animal and pulled the netting out of the water. If only we had more people acting like that. This poor baby bird was unconscious from dehydration after a severe heat wave, but a person got there just in time. The bird was too weak to drink, but it gradually came to.
And people who give water to thirsty squirrels during a summer heat wave. To the vet where he was treated for his injuries. Now he will soon be able to hop around the woods again, thanks to these wonderful people.
Just listen to the cries of this poor dog. It was hungry and scared, but it entrusted its life to caring people who took the dog to the shelter and brought it back to life. This person sacrificed himself to protect his dog from 2 American Staffordshire Terriers. Now that's what you call a quick reflex. This guy found a butterfly lost in a pipe and used his tape measure to rescue the insect. Original, but effective.
But this little deer was very lucky to have been found by kind-hearted people. As they cut the fence and rescued the baby, its mother was breathlessly watching from only 30 yards away, waiting to be reunited. The squirrel was so stricken by heat stroke that it barely had any strength left in its body, when suddenly a gracious man brought the squirrel some much-needed water.